Hi, it's Bumble. Welcome back to my channel. So, I finished this movie about 20 minutes ago. About that or so. I watched this with my dad. It was kind of nice that both of us had actually wanted to see this movie and thought it sounded interesting. So, it was nice to watch it together. But because I watched the movie, not by myself and with someone, I didn't take any notes. So, this is just kind of remembering things off the top of my head and just kind of giving my general opinion. When I finished the movie, I felt disappointed, a little bit let down, just because of like the premise. I feel like kind of let me down, especially like the description for the movie and stuff. And I was like, okay, I feel kind of mixed on this, but a little more on the disappointed side, and it made me feel kind of unhappy, and I thought, okay, I probably shouldn't. Sometimes I get in that mood after I finish a movie, because I literally told my dad, I was like, okay, I'm going to go talk about this and make my little video, and then I was going to continue watching Four Weddings and a Funeral. But then I thought, okay, that's probably not the best mood to record this, and I should probably... Sometimes I have to just kind of let a movie stew in my brain for a little bit and just kind of let myself either kind of calm down a little. Not that I was, like, agitated, but I could tell I needed to kind of chill a bit and just kind of, like... Sometimes I have to, like, process a movie after I finish it. Not, like, think about it super hard, but yeah, kind of let it stew in my brain. So I forced myself to take a shower. So now I'm clean, and I can do this. And I actually watched some funny videos as well, and I feel like it kind of chilled me out, and now I'm ready to talk about it. So yeah, I was originally a little disappointed. Now I'm kind of like... It was good. I mean, okay, that's the thing. It was good. I thought it was really well made. I thought it was really good. I only felt disappointed because the premise of this movie, like even when you go to read the little blurb for it on HBO Max, that's why I watched it. It's like this hitman is hired by his neighbor, who is this little girl, she's probably like 8 or something, to kill the monster that's under her bed, which is this giant dust bunny, which I'm glad you don't actually see. You do sort of see the monster, but you don't really see like its full body until the end, which was nice. So that's the thing, like, and it happens like early on in the movie too, of like she tries to hire him to kill the bunny, and they do this thing where it's like people are being eaten by this bunny, but the guy is the hitman is like conveniently not there, and he finally gets to see it at the end. But what I feel disappointed by is you never actually see him try to kill it. He never really kind of has that thought. Like other people try to kill it and stuff, but that's just sort of like kind of part of it at the end. It's not like the express purpose of like, I'm gonna come to this building and kill this giant bunny. And the thing is that made it a little bit more almost hurtful in a way is that the hitman, oh yeah, I keep calling him the hitman. I think in the credits he's technically called like the concerned neighbor. What is he? Let me see what he's... Yeah, Resident 5B, a hitman. He's just referred to as like I think in the movie as the neighbor or some... This guy, he doesn't have a character name like at all, so I'm just gonna refer to him as either the neighbor or the hitman, and probably just the hitman, then you'll know who I'm talking about. But I just wanted to start with that. Yeah, the girl's name is Aurora. The guy doesn't have a name, he's just her neighbor and a hitman, and there's actually a very small cast for this in terms of like important characters and stuff. I really liked that. Some of them only have their names revealed in the captions anyway. But yeah, the hitman has to fight not has to fight the bunny, but he ends up getting taken under the floorboards. The rabbit eats him, and I thought, okay, we're finally gonna see him fight this rabbit. No, he ends up getting spit out because he had thumb sucking repellent or detergent, or I guess that's probably the thing. And the rabbit spits him out because of that. And then the guy and the little girl, they leave, but it's kind of shown that the monster follows them, and that's it. He doesn't kill the monster. I'm with the way they tried to... sort of explain it at the end. I don't know if that's the best way to phrase it. I can understand why he doesn't kill the monster. What I feel a little disappointed by is it's this kind of premise of like he's supposed to fight this monster, and it's like, yeah, he's a hitman, he's gonna fight the monster under her bed, but you don't ever see him fight the monster. And that's I guess I felt like so let down by that, since that was supposed to be like the basic premise and everything, that I feel like that just kind of bummed me out about the whole movie when I finished, which I feel kind of bad about that, because I finished the movie, my dad and I got to the credits, and he was telling me that he really, really liked it, and I'm happy that he really liked it. Oh yeah, on that note, when we were watching, and you know, and I had finished, I was disappointed, but I didn't really want to say I was disappointed, so I was like, oh yeah, especially because like it's a good movie, it's a well-made movie. I just felt so bummed about like he didn't get to fight the bunny that it just kind of made me feel a little sour. Brian Fuller, he's okay, producer and director. I thought just the director. It's funny, my dad, when we were watching the movie, he said that this kind of it reminded him of like Wes Anderson a little bit. I could sort of see it, not completely like Wes Anderson, but I could understand why he was saying that. I was thinking about John Wick. I feel like the parts with the hitman, especially the first time he has to fight anybody, it's in this like alley, and it's these people that are inside of this like giant dragon puppet. So the girl sees it and thinks that the guy's killing a dragon, but it's actually he's killing the people in that are like controlling the puppet and stuff. That kind of made me think of John Wick, or especially the way some of these characters talk to each other. It's that like thing with John Wick where it's like all of these killers and assassins and stuff, and they're all very like polite to each other and about their business. There's this sort of professionalism, and that's especially how it is between the hitman character in this and the woman who I'm presuming is his handler, but she also turns out to be his mother. Is this character played by Sigourney Weaver. They don't say her name in the movie. It was in the credits. It's Laverne. Yeah, her name, or not in the credits. I mean, it is in the credits. It's in the captions, but they never actually say her name out loud in the movie. But it's revealed later in the movie that she is the hitman's mother, which I feel like kind of explains things. This is a movie, it's, you know, supposed to be about a movie about a guy that's hired to kill a dust bunny, but it's not, because that doesn't actually happen. He's never actually hired. And it's kind of, it's like multiple things. It's like this monster that keeps eating people. So it's not completely like a horror movie in that aspect, I guess so. And it's about this hitman, and these people are coming to kill him, and also this little girl, because she's a witness, she has seen his face, and he's thinking that the monster that she keeps talking about might actually be killers, and it's not. It really is just the rabbit, which I was a little disappointed. I'll get to that in a minute. But then it's also about this hitman who supposedly doesn't have any family. He never talks about his mom or anything. And this little girl that doesn't have anybody anymore because the bunny keeps eating people, and he ends up becoming her dad. It's like three different things kind of within this movie, really. Oh yeah, the thing I was gonna say, the her family and stuff, that was another thing I was kind of thinking about, where, I mean, the audience sees the bunny and knows that the bunny is killing people. Like, it starts with her family getting killed, and it turns out that it's her foster family, and she's had like 3 foster families, and the birth parents have all been eaten by this bunny. There's this sort of thing of like magic within the movie too, of like the girl apparently made a wish for the rabbit to kill her family, and it does, but then it keeps killing people, kills anyone that touches the floor. This whole movie is basically like the floor is lava, and even though the girl says that some of her families were nice, like the people you see at the beginning of the movie did seem like they didn't believe her about the bunny thing, but like none of the adults do. But they seemed like they did care about her, like they were decent people from, you know, what we see as the audience. So some of those people, it's not like she's purposely wishing for the bunny to eat everyone. It's just that's what it does, and it's here and stuff, and it doesn't eat her. I thought it was because, like, you know, it only eats people that touches the floor, so I thought, oh, okay, it's also maybe because she's, like, hiding under the blankets or whatever. So she doesn't control the rabbit or anything. So I was thinking, okay, it's like a little monster, but then they try to do this thing where the hitman thinks that, oh, the girl might have witnessed a crime, and she's thinking that it's monsters that killed her parents. And at first I was thinking so, because you keep seeing like gun holes and stuff in the walls and things, but no, it is that the rabbit killed her parents, and the killers are just there to kill the hitman, really, at least most of them in this. And it turns into this thing where there's these killers that come to try to kill the hitman, and you think, okay, there's gonna be, and there's like this FBI lady as well, and some FBI people. The FBI lady, she's really cool. Let me see, what is her name? Her name is Brenda, I think. Yeah. I think she was one of the only characters that was actually introduced by name. But yeah, she's cool. I liked her. I was worried she got killed kind of towards the end of the movie, but then she turns out to be okay. And then in the credits, you see that she survived the encounter with the bunny. And you think, okay, it's going to turn into this really cool shootout, but not really, because then the rabbit shows up to start eating people, and it's just like, okay, there goes the really cool, like, action scene and stuff. What was I saying? Sorry, I had a point with this. But yeah, it feels kind of... And then they end up leaving, and you think, okay, the rabbit's going to be stuck there, but then it follows them in the shadow of their car. And the ending also feels kind of weird, too, where the girl tries to defend the hitman from the rabbit, and then it turns out the rabbit won't kill her. Like, the entire movie, she's been afraid of it, but it turns out the rabbit won't kill her because she wished for it, so it's hers, so she can actually control it, which, I don't know, it makes it feel kind of weird to me, because it's like it's been killing all of these people, but then it just turns out she needed to not be afraid of it, and she can actually realize she can control it, and then, you know, it wouldn't be... So I guess it's not going to kill people anymore. I guess she just has this rabbit that follows her and stuff. So that made me think if the rabbit was supposed to be like an analogy for something, maybe, because suddenly at the end it's like, oh, okay, it won't kill you and you can embrace it in a sense, but at the same time it was this very real monster within the world of the movie that was straight up killing people. So I'm like, is it supposed to be seen as just like kind of a horror movie monster, or is it supposed to be some kind of analogy for something related to this child character and her fears? It didn't really feel clear to me with that. Or like how it sometimes felt like, is this supposed to be, I mean, I guess it's both, it's a drama and a horror and also like an action movie of like, is this supposed to be like a more kind of John Wick like movie about this hitman and him never having a stable life, and then this little girl comes along and they sort of become each other's family? Or is it that it's a horror movie and this unkillable monster, because no one manages to kill the rabbit, the characters try, the gunshots don't do anything, and it's just killing these people, and they end up sort of taming it in a sense by the end. It just, a lot of things in this felt kind of, or it's kind of like with the characters too, you kind of never really find out who anybody is, which for some of them I understand, like the main character hitman and his handler and stuff, but it's like, I feel like I was left with so many questions of like, how did he know the FBI and the FBI lady and stuff, and what's the deal with the woman that I think is, I'm assuming his handler also being his mom. There's like so many things, I guess in the end it's not really important, but there was just so many things that felt kind of muddled to me, or that I was kind of confused by, that it felt like it was kind of hard to follow through with the movie. Like the action stuff was cool, the stuff with the rabbit, I think it was a puppet because it mentioned about puppeteers in the credits. That was cool. The segments with it, I thought the cinematography, like the camera work and stuff, was cool. There's a lot of like interesting set design and props and things as well. Like I think my favorite was that the hitman had a chicken lamp in his apartment, and the bulb was coming out of the chicken's butt like it was laying an egg. I thought that was pretty cool. My dad and I both really liked that. Or there's some cool locations in the movie. They go to a, what is it called? I think a Simdem restaurant. And they end up ordering a bunch of food, and all of the food looked really cool. There was moments like that where all the food is being served and it said what each one is, that like kind of reminded me of like a Wes Anderson movie a bit. But yeah, that's the funny thing. Like my dad had mentioned like this kind of reminded him of like Wes Anderson movies a bit. And I was thinking in my head, like, I can see where he's coming from, that sort of whimsy to it, but there's something, it's not like there was something specific it was reminding me of and I just couldn't remember. It was more of like, I'm thinking not Wes Anderson, but we're on the same similar wavelength here. It's something, I see where you're coming from, but I can't but I don't think it's Wes Anderson. And then when I saw in the credits that Brian Fuller was, I mean, what I know him from is for shows like Wonderwall and Pushing Daisies. I don't think I've talked about Pushing Daisies in here. It was a show I found out about and then binged the entire thing. I think like 2 or 3 years ago. It feels so long ago for me. I absolutely adored that show, and it really bothers me that there was that 2008 I think the writer's strike, just because that was one of the things that was affected by it, where the ending was super duper rushed, and I'm just like, because it was such a good show. But yeah, I freaking love Pushing Daisies. And then yeah, once I saw who the director was for this movie, I was like, okay, that explains a lot about this movie actually. Just kind of the style and vibe of it. It's not as like eccentric, I think, as like Pushing Daisies, but I feel like the way the characters were written in this, especially a lot of the conversations between the hitman character and the little girl Aurora, I feel like okay, I'm kind of understanding why these are the way they are, which those parts of the movie are good too, where they'll talk about things. They have a conversation about how like neither of them have family, and Aurora's a fun character in that she's sassy in a way, I don't think that's the right word, but in a way where it's not annoying. Very like the adults will try to challenge her and she'll try to challenge them back. She's not intimidated by them or by anything except for the dust bunny rabbit. It's kind of funny, whenever I watch movies with these sort of almost spunky child characters, my dad always finds those really funny. Like on the poster of the movie, not this one but a different poster, Aurora is wearing these glasses and this little like shawl around her head, like trying to look important, and I remember my dad saw that when we clicked on the movie and he thought it was really funny. The best way I could describe those type of child characters, it's the same way as like the two little kids that are in the movie Uncle Buck, if you've ever seen that movie. I gotta talk about that one eventually. That's a really fun movie. But I feel like knowing this is the same director for like Wonderwall and Push, or I think it's called, no, I think it's called Wonderfalls actually, not Wonderfall's the song. No, I think shit, now I have to check. Wait, no, that's the actor for Bond. I'm looking under the wrong thing. Yeah. Damn it, where is it? Yeah, Wonderfalls, not Wonderwall. Oh! Okay, no, that also explains... Okay, yeah, this is the same director for the Hannibal. I forgot this is the same guy that did Hannibal, which, the actor that plays Hannibal in the Hannibal show from like 2013, and the one that plays the hitman on this, it's the same guy. I think his name's Mads... Nope. Mads Mikkelsen, yeah. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm so used to him, by the way, as seeing him as a villain in a lot of movies. I think the first thing I saw him in was as Le Chiffre in the 2006 Casino Royale. That I've never seen him play like someone that's not a villain, so it's kind of weird for me of this movie where he's this hitman that, you know, is protecting this child and stuff and ends up adopting her. So it was nice to see him in like a good guy role. I did watch a little bit of Hannibal, but I didn't get very far into it. But yeah, I'm trying to think of my other thoughts with this. So yeah, it's like a little bit whimsical, but in a way that's more of like, if you've ever seen Pushing Daisies, kind of more in that direction than like Wes Anderson, I think is the way I can partially describe this movie. But then it also was kind of, the action segments of it were also kind of reminding me of John Wick, so it's like a little bit of both of those, which is a good thing, which sounds like a good thing. I feel like for me, you know, because I was a little disappointed because I thought he was gonna fight the rabbit. I literally told my dad, like, when the guy got eaten, I said, the hitman, I said, okay, finally, this is what I'm here for. He's gonna fight the rabbit, and he doesn't fight the rabbit. I feel like that kind of almost tainted my first viewing in a way, but I feel like if I watch this a second time, like if I wait a while and I watch it and knowing that, you know, that fight with the rabbit that I keep expecting is just never going to come, and that's not the point of the movie, you know, once you're like watching it and stuff, I feel like I would enjoy it a lot more, because that's the thing. I'm gonna recommend this movie to you, is what I'm trying to say. I'd recommend this. It is a good movie. It's just that was the one detail that just kind of clouded my feelings on it a bit. But other than that, if we forget about that and just view it the way it is, I think it's great, actually. I do. I would watch it again at some point. Yeah, sorry my thoughts on this are a little kind of all over the place. It's just, I don't have any notes to go off of for this, and I also kind of waited a while to make this because I wanted to be in a better headspace. But yeah, I liked the characters. I thought the design of the rabbit was cool. I think it's kind of interesting for a movie where it's like, yeah, there's a monster under the bed and you're not allowed to touch the floor, which sounds silly, and they turned that part of it into like a horror aspect. But then it's also surprisingly a movie like I knew the main character was a hitman, but I was not expecting any of the stuff of like the people coming after him to kill him or the FBI characters being involved. All of that was like a surprise to me as I was watching, and that was really cool, actually. I liked those parts as well. I just think this is overall really good. I'm really hoping this director, because I think this was his like theatrical debut. Yeah, feature film directional debut. Yeah. I hope he does more. I want him to do more. But yeah, knowing it's by him, it explains a lot, but in like a good way, with the movie. Like it kind of all just like, it like clicked for me once I realized that. But yeah, this was good. I'd recommend it. Thanks for watching. Yeah, bye.